What's up people, and welcome to this video. So I am finally making this video. It actually took me a while. I had to figure out the top 10 reasons or tips how to actually become a glorious legend. So I'm making this video for you guys because I usually get maybe 3 or 4 questions each day asking me how can I become better in Mobile Legends, how do you play, do you have any tips for me, how do I become glorious legend, or just how do I rank up a bit. So I'm trying to answer all those questions, but it's quite hard, and I know I get a lot of them each day, so I feel like it's just better for me to make a video showing you all a few tips that I can give you and stuff like that. So I made a top 10, a list of 10 tips which I will give you, which will hopefully make you better in Mobile Legends. And few of them is just that you should do, some obvious tips and stuff you should know and stuff like that. But either way, so at number 10, if you're using an older phone, you maybe do not have a new phone, or if you're playing on maybe not the best internet connection, I really recommend you lowering your graphics to the lowest, and removing shadows and stuff like that, and damage text, because it isn't that important to see shadows or playing on the highest graphics. It does honestly not really matter. What does matter in other cases is the frames you have and your MS in the game, because you really want to have good frame rate so you can see everything what's happening. You don't want it to lag, because you will play a lot worse if it's lagging. I feel like almost everyone knows that, if you're playing and it's lagging, you're oh, I didn't mean to do that, but it happened because of the lag and stuff like that. So I just really recommend you starting off, if you're playing on an older phone and stuff like that, or whatever, which can't handle the best graphics, I really recommend you playing on the low graphics. I do it because I feel like I'm getting more frames, but maybe my phone can actually handle the highest graphics and stuff like that. But I feel like I'm gonna play on low graphics just to be safe, and honestly, it doesn't really make such a big difference playing on the highest graphics or the lowest graphics, stuff like that. So that's just a small tip I give you to just do that. I just do that. Either way, so at number 9, I really recommend you knowing all the roles in the game. That's really basic. You really need to know that. You need to know what the tank does, you need to know what the support does, what the mage do, marksman, fighter, and assassin. For example, tank, they are meant to tank, they are not meant to make damage. So if you're playing a tank, or something like that, yes, he deals quite a lot of damage, but you're still gonna play tank, because that's your role in your team. You want to be able to tank the enemy team, you want to be in the front line and tank what the enemies are shooting against your team. You want to tank that, you want to be the shield for your team. Pretty fun if you're playing Lolita, because she actually has a shield. And then playing mage, you want to build a lot of magic damage, so you can deal as much damage to the enemy as possible and stun them and just do a lot of damage and stay in behind your tank and stuff like that. Maybe I can actually go and make a video on all the roles. If you want me to do that, you can go and comment down below, but I'm not gonna say anything more about that in this video, because this will be obviously too long. It's already long. So at number 8, I really recommending you knowing the role that you are playing. So this is, it's basically the same as number 9, but when you're playing maybe a new role, or you're playing mage for the first time, or you're playing a marksman for the first time, so you really gotta know what in the world you're gonna do with that role. So if you're playing as an assassin and you're usually playing a fighter, it will be quite a big difference, because assassin has higher damage on their abilities, but they have worse auto attacks, and they have worse health and stuff like that. So you're really gonna know how to play them, because there are different play styles on each hero and each role that they have. So I really recommend you learning the role that you're gonna play. And if you're gonna play a new hero for the first time, don't gonna jump into a real game. Go ahead and go against bots at least maybe 1 or 2 games, just so you know how to play the hero, how the hero works, and definitely how the role works if you're playing a new role for the first time. So at number 7, I mean, this is basically the same as number 8 and number 9, but just knowing exactly what all the heroes has, what role they have. So if you're seeing a hero that you haven't seen in the game before, it's quite hard maybe to say directly what that hero is. For example, when we saw the first picture of Yisan Shin, yes, we guessed that it was a marksman, and yes, it was a marksman, but he was also kind of a fighter, so it's kind of hard to see. And maybe if you see Shu for the first time, it's actually quite hard to say, is he a tank? Is he a fighter? Is he an assassin? It's really hard to know. So I just really recommend you going through all the heroes, taking a look what they can do and what role they have. And that's actually at my spot number 6. You really want to know your opponent. Like, your enemy is your best friend. You want to know exactly what all the heroes can do. Like, literally go out and take a look, maybe read a few heroes, like read their descriptions, their passive, all their abilities, stuff like that, and go ahead and play as many heroes as possible so you know how to play them, how fast they can run, can they jump, can they stun you, can they slow you down, like all that. It's so important to know, like, literally all the details. You will not become a pro player until you know all of these small details. Like, the small details are the big details. Like, you gotta know everything. If someone is chasing you, you gotta know how far he can jump. Can he slow you? Does he have any range ability? Stuff like that. It's just so important. But I do not recommending you to sit there and try to read through all the heroes. You will not learn shit by doing that. So I really recommend you maybe reading on a hero, reading his skills, then jump into playing a bot game, like a custom match, stuff like that. Stuff like that. It's so helpful. It's just insane. Okay, it's so helpful because you will know how your team will work and stuff like that. It's just so important. And then my next tip at number 5 is try to focus like on 2 to 4 heroes which you want to become good at. For me, I usually try to focus on, let's gonna take a look at it. I focus on playing Alpha because I really like how Alpha works, and he has been really strong in the last patches and stuff like that. And I really like Alucard, Clint, and Mia. Those are my 4 mains, but I also play a lot of other heroes and stuff, and I'll talk a little about more of that at number 4. But I choose these 4 heroes because I really like how they play, and I have played them the most, so I know how they work against different teams, against different heroes. So why I'm saying this, why I'm saying you should really go ahead and focus on like just a few heroes, is if you're playing different heroes like every game, like you will forget how another hero plays, you will mix them, you will forget, well, was this hero who did this, or was that hero? Like, yeah, you should know all the heroes, but you should also focus on like just a few heroes, like 2 or 4 heroes. You should really become good with them, okay? And I really recommend you playing like, don't only play like mages, or don't only play fighters. Yeah, sure, that can go good as well, but if you have a team with like 4 mages, you can't pick a mage because it's really stupid to have like 5 mages in a team. And that is actually my number 4. Pick the right hero for your team, because you don't want a full team of an assassins, and you don't want a full team of mages or marksmen. You don't want that. You gotta know, like, okay, well, we have 3 marksmen in the team. That's really bad. So maybe I should go ahead and pick a tank so I can tank the enemy heroes, and my marksmen will deal the damage and stuff like that. It's just really important picking the right hero for the team, because you can't play the same hero each time. Yes, of course there will be some exceptions when playing maybe a really overpowered hero, like for Alpha, for instance. I played him 23 games in a row. I won every single game of those. Like, it's just insane because he was so overpowered when he came out. So overpowered. I actually made a full video on that, talking about how I won 23 games with Alpha. I will link the video down in the description. It's just so insane. Okay, that's an exception, but they have nerfed him now. On Monday they will nerf him again, which is the 4th time he will be nerfed. So I mean, yes, there will be some exceptions, and Clint, yeah, sure, you can play him almost every single game because he's so strong, but he will also be nerfed in the next update. But you gotta pick the right hero for a team. You can't have 5 marksmen in a team. There's no way you will win that. So you gotta know, like, to play a few different heroes, maybe some different type of roles here. Like, you know, maybe you can play 1 tank, you can play 1 marksman, 1 fighter, 1 assassin, stuff like that. It's just really smart to do that. For my example, my top 4 heroes, it is a fighter, it is an assassin / fighter, and it is marksman. Like, that's my main. But I also know how to play Mino and Kagura. So yeah. Then at spot number 3. You gotta go ahead and use good builds, okay? You can't build a horrible build and expect it to be a good game. It won't, okay? So I'm trying to make like as many good builds for you as possible, but it's really hard for me just to I can't just invent a good build. I gotta go ahead and try different builds, stuff like that, heroes, and I don't really play all the heroes, so it's kind of hard for me to say what is the best build for Hayabusa. Don't really ask me, because I'm not really a Hayabusa player, but yeah, sure, I can go ahead and try to tell you from what I know how Hayabusa works and how his skills work, stuff like that. From that, okay, that build should be pretty good for him, and but I can't tell before I try him, okay, and before I tried a ton of different builds. So there is Mlbb has actually tons of different builds on their forum, so I can leave a link down in the description to the forum, which you can go and check out, so you can see like, oh, that build might be good, and you really gotta go ahead and try out some builds for yourself and try to see, well, this build is pretty good and that build is pretty good, so let's combine them and we have the ultimate build, something like that. And you can't build the same build each game, because sometimes you're going against like 3 mages, then you can't go ahead and play tank with like armor. That's stupid. That's just 100% stupid, okay? So you gotta go ahead and like build differently depending on what enemies, like enemy heroes, you're going against. And I know this might be like really hard to understand, and I might actually go ahead and make another video on it. But like, you gotta go ahead and adapt to the enemy heroes as much as possible to counter them. So, but that's another video. Comment down below if you want to see that video and how we're gonna make it. But number 2, guys, it's actually really important to play with friends, because it's much easier to play with friends. Maybe, oh, I have a friend which is kind of good, he has 60% win rate. Well, go ahead and play with him, because he might go ahead and carry your team. If you can go ahead and speak on like Discord or on Skype or on something like that, you will be able to communicate with him a lot easier, and you two will work a lot better with each other. And if you have a full team of 5 friends, I mean, that's just really great, because like, that's just insanely good. Like because the communication in these games are so important, and like speaking with each other in the game from just like typing stuff, it will take so long and you will waste time, so it's just bad. But playing with friends and talking on Skype or something like that, it's just gold, okay? It's worth gold. So I'm really recommending you playing with friends, because you will have a bigger chance of winning just because you can communicate with your teammates. Then number 1, yes, I kinda hate this, but it is actually true. So I'm really recommending you playing Overpowered Heroes. Yes, it's stupid, but it freaking works. I won 23 games with Alpha just because he was overpowered, okay? So I mean, playing Overpowered Heroes, I really recommend you doing that. So if you maybe see a video that I do in the future, top 5 best heroes, and the one that I will pick at number 1, maybe you should actually go ahead and try to play that hero. Maybe the first game will not go that good because you don't really know how to play the hero, but eventually when you learn how to play the hero, and if I'm telling you that he is overpowered, or if you hear it from other sources and stuff like that, he might actually be overpowered and he will be a really good hero. I mean, I played Alpha. I won 23 games in a row. I carried every single game. I mean, on average, I got about like maybe 10 to 15 kills each game, and the game length was about 10 minutes. I mean, I was able to like push so much, deal so much damage. The same thing goes for Clint. He has been so overpowered since the rework, so it's just insane. Been able to carry so much with him. He does so much damage, but they will go ahead and nerf him. So maybe if you guys want, I will go ahead and make a top 5 best heroes after the patch or something like that, just in the future. But I'm really recommending you, if you hear that one hero is overpowered, I really recommend you actually go ahead and picking him up and trying to play him, because most likely he will be overpowered, and you really want to have an overpowered hero in the team. For example, I made a top 5 overpowered heroes just maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago, something like that. That video isn't as accurate now because there have been 1 patch and there will be another patch just in a few days. And having a full team, 5 heroes of overpowered heroes, that is really strong. That is really strong. Right now, an extremely strong team setup would be Mino, because Mino is overpowered right now. Clint is super overpowered and works really well with Mino. Let's see, the new hero Yisan Shin is actually pretty overpowered as well. I think it's really good because his ultimate is really strong. And a mage, I think Kangura is pretty strong. It's really hard to just make it up right now, but I mean, you can probably make a full team of just the most overpowered heroes in each role. But anyway, guys, that was all for this video. Please gonna leave a like and go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already done that. But guys, I hope I'll see you next video, guys. But as always, thank you for watching, and I really hope you learned something.